Hello, and welcome everyone to episode 72 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host, Tyler, and it would not be a Video Game Club episode without my two wonderful co-hosts. Ribbit, it's Austin.
Ribbit.
And now we have time for a donation. It's Mox.
What's going on?
Greetings from Germany.
How is everyone doing today?
Okay.
I'm zonked.
I'm also zonked. For a little behind the scenes work has been really crazy this week. And this weekend, there's all these gaming events going on. The non E3. It's been wild. Mox, what have you been playing besides Frogun?
Not Frogun.
No.
I was playing Ni no Kuni 2 until my cat pushed my Steam Deck out of his seat and onto the floor, and I have to repair it. So I was playing.
Pour one out.
I know, so sad. I had to retire just for a bit so I don't worsen the damage. But I was playing Tears of the Kingdom. You guilted me into doing all the side quests I didn't do. So now I'm doing all the side quests.
I'm sorry.
No, they're good. They were good.
They are good. So the Steam Deck, you said it was in your cat's bed. So who's at fault here, really?
I should have put it in a more stable position. I just got up to go, I don't even know, get water or something. And then I hear a clatter, and then the cat, like trying to get purchase on the wood floor.
Yeah.
And I was, oh no, what was that?
No.
The worst had happened.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Easy to fix.
Yeah, it's easy. Hopefully it'll be easy to fix. But then also, like, there's cloud saves, which is really nice with the Steam Deck. Like, yeah, sure, Switch has all that, and other platforms, but I feel like they work really well usually with Steam. And so you could just continue on your PC if you wanted to. In the meantime,
I just love the Steam Deck so much. It's like I don't even want to play until I can fix it.
Aw,
I don't even need this. Whatever the cloud saves, I'll just fix
you'll just
it
wait.
first.
Nice. Yeah. Austin, what have you been playing?
I started and finished Bright Memory. I started Scorn. And I've been playing Destiny 2. Some friends and I who used to play. We haven't played since around, I guess 2020 was when we last played.
What was the expansion or whatever it was at that time?
It was whatever was before Beyond Light, so I guess that was Forsaken.
I don't know. That sounds
right. Whenever you go to the moon. So we picked up Beyond Light and The Witch Queen and Lightfall. I guess that's the newest one. And we logged in and we're just like, what is everything? So
you gave a lot of money to whatever that awful company is that owns it these days.
Everything was on sale, so. And we all agreed we weren't going to do any of the seasonal content. We just wanted to play the expansions, and we'll have our fun.
Didn't they bring back the Vault of Glass?
I don't know. One of the reasons that I quit was they were sunsetting weapons, and then they were like, we're not going to do that anymore. And then another reason I didn't come back was like, we're going to vault old content, and we're just going to remove stuff that you've paid for out of the game.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I was like, no, that's also really dumb. And I was told that they stopped doing that. And
really?
When I heard that, as well as not sunsetting weapons, my understanding was we have decided not to do that, and we've stopped. Everything's back in the game and not sunset. And that's not the case. Everything that they sunset still got sunset and stayed sunset. But they stopped doing it to more things. So, yeah. So all my gear that I had spent a really long time earning had been sunset, so I couldn't use any of it for any of modern content, and that really sucked. So
that is so bizarre.
It's a really dumb way to get people to feel like they want to invest time in your game. So that's why I'm not going to max anything in this game. I'm just going to play through the story content, have my fun.
Nice.
It is sad because you have to min-max in order to do PvP.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
PvP doesn't have... It's
really?
not power...
You need the weapons.
I mean, you can get there. People are still using exotics that were there like when the game first came out.
Oh, interesting.
Somebody mowed me down with sweet business, and I was top of
sweet business.
I was top of the team with an exotic that I had from 3 years ago. Exotics didn't get sunset, so that was nice. But anything else?
I thought you had to like re-roll the stupid, the things on weapons, just regular ones now.
I don't think exotics have rolls on them.
No, the other weapons.
The legendaries.
You can't use an exotic for everything.
I mean, you can for PvP. I stick to one gun, and then I just mow people down with that. It works.
I have not been playing Destiny 2 because that sounds like work. I have been playing some Nier Replicant still. Zelda, of course. Totka. It's been going pretty good. And then, Austin, we've been playing Operation Tango.
I was about to bring that up, and then I got too wrapped up in explaining Destiny 2. Operation Tango. Very, it's a fun co-op hacker agent game.
Yeah, it's one of those games, Mox, where you're working as a team, but you each don't know what the other person sees.
I really enjoy those kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
You probably would really like the one that Austin that you played with Toby.
Oh yeah, I think we had talked about that before.
Yeah, what universe is it in? The
Rusty Lake.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. There's one in the Rusty Lake universe, Mox, that you would probably like. I don't know if your sister plays games, but you might be able to play with her or something. Or I'd be down to play.
It's hard to get her to play. She just likes to watch.
Okay.
I would appreciate playing. That sounds like fun. What was Operation Tango? I've never heard of it.
It's a game where we've only played 3 missions, I think. One person's like a spy or agent, and they're like in the field, and the other person's remote, and they're like a hacker type person, and you have to work together to solve different puzzles and get through the level.
So like I'll get to look at the security feeds to see Tyler walking around, and then he'll get
open
into
doors
later and be like, oh, this can't go anywhere. And I'm like, oh, let me send it to the floor you need to go to. And then we've got puzzles we have to solve together. And
then I have to give him like an IP address that I find so that he can hack into this other thing. Stuff like that. It's cool. It's
cool.
It's pretty fun. Now, before we get started, just as a reminder, this is Video Game Club, where usually every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. If you can't catch us live, don't worry. You can find us on YouTube, all major podcast services. Just search Bombchu Video Game Club and you'll find it. And if you appreciate what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, rating, commenting, all those things, and coming to the Discord and nominating a game for the viewer and listener vote, which happens every 14. Oh yeah, and to vote, of course. The nominations for this episode were suggested by me, and they were Frogun, Goodbye World, and Melatonin.
2 of those games were just so good.
And one of them we're going to talk about right now, which is Frogun. I mean, I'm assuming Goodbye World was going to be good. Melatonin seemed great. Goodbye World looked really lovely too. Frogun is a 3D platformer developed by Molgato. It's a solo dev based out of Spain named Raul Martinez. And he has made 2 other games. He's made a few others, but there were 2 bigger ones called Supersonic Tank Cats and Demented Pixie. Has anyone ever heard of this dev?
No.
I have not.
Same.
I'm certain it's Martinez if he's from Spain.
Yes. Martinez. Good. Yeah, you are correct, Mox. It was published by Top Hat Studios, which is a New York-based publisher. They've published games like Cloudscape, Paper Animal RPG, Kaichu, the Kaiju dating sim, and many others. Have we heard about any of these games?
No.
Also,
silly.
I think I've played Cloudscape, but yeah, other than that, no.
And I believe they're also publishing, is it a sequel or a spinoff, Austin? The Frogun Encore?
It's described as both a sequel and a standalone expansion. So they're kind of like letting you decide what it is, but it sounds like it's kind of like more of a continuation as a standalone expansion.
Yeah, Mox, they're making a sequel expansion to this game that's going to be fully multiplayer. Misery loves company. This game was released August 2nd, 2022 on all modern platforms. 2022, Steam Deck, Playdate.
Actually came out.
They came out. Just for you, Mox.
Deja vu.
We had games like God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Sonic Frontiers, and many, many others, including 3 games we played for Video Game Club already. Beacon Pines. I still need to play the ice cream update.
Oh, yes.
Neon White.
Neon White.
And one game that features a cute little fox. Tunic. Yep.
Man, 3 bangers from 2022.
I know, right?
Just vehemently disagree, but
it's okay to be wrong.
We'll get there.
Oh, gosh. I think we can all agree Beacon Pines is great, though.
Beacon Pines?
And
oh,
Tunic.
My goodness.
And Tunic, yeah. Right, Austin, you like Tunic?
Oh,
didn't
yes. You? Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tunic's great. Yeah, if you're playing Frogun right now, just stop and go play one of those games.
Please.
Yeah. The game got average to high average reviews. It got 6s and 7s. I guess that's like good and a little below good.
I'm surprised to hear that, given it is very polished.
Yeah. People really liked the level variety, the difficulty, and they commented that this game would appeal to speedrunners. Some of the cons that people brought up were the camera, the race levels, and also the difficulty, because it has that crazy difficulty spike in it. So, moving on to the discussion. It is time to talk about the gameplay. A 3D platformer where you play as a girl with a frog. That's a grapple gun. Game consists of 7 worlds. Each world features a boss level, I think. I guess 6 of the worlds do, right, Austin? You're the only one who fully completed it.
The 7th world contains 2 different boss rushes.
Oh my god, it's part of the game?
Uh-huh. The 7th world is totally optional, and I don't know what the unlock requirements are. So it's possible you have to do something special, or maybe once you beat World 6 and roll the credits, it unlocks. I don't know. And I couldn't find out online. But whatever I did, it unlocked. And I played it.
But you roll the credits after World 6, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Each world has a race level as well in it.
All of them but World 7.
Okay. Those are fun. And each level has a few things that need to be done to fully complete the level. And Austin, I'll give you some time to talk about the extra bit. But you need to finish the level. You need to find 2 emeralds. And Mox, when we were here going through them, the emeralds seemed pretty obvious, right? They weren't.
Are they not emeralds?
They are.
Yeah, please.
They're emeralds?
Use the word.
Because they're supposed to be the eyes on the metal.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I missed
emeralds.
that. I was not purposely not calling them what they are. I did not know that.
Well,
they're emeralds?
They're emeralds.
Oh, now I hate it even more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Each level has a challenge room that has a skull in it. Does that have a special name too? The purple
obsidian skull.
The obsidian skull. You also need to collect all the coins on the level. You need to find the story page. You need to beat the level within a certain time limit, and you need to beat the level without dying.
And these are all like aspects of a medal that you're filling out. You don't have to do any of them other than beat the level to progress. But there will be little treasures along the way that's like, hey, if you have this many of this medal, then you can open this chest.
You can get the Santa hat or whatever.
It'll be like a hat or a health upgrade. Yeah.
So, Mox, are you aware that there's actually like a second level to the time limit?
What do you mean?
There are master time trial times. And so if you beat that, then you get diamonds on the medal as well.
Oh, I see. Around the sides.
Yeah.
I understand.
That's a second piece, or that's an extra piece of completion.
That means you need a minimum of 3 playthroughs.
They don't show you, no, because you can get that on your first playthrough. Like you can get it when you're beating the quick time.
I guess.
But they don't show you what that time is until you have finished the game.
They They don't
And
even
I
show you what
didn't-
the first time is, do they? Yeah, they do.
They
do
show
tell
you what the
first
first
one.
time is.
Yeah.
They don't show you what that time is until you've beaten the game. And I couldn't find a list of them online, so I was getting them as I went. And I just had to guess what time I needed to be.
Oh no.
That was not fun.
So Mox was over whenever I started this game, and I played like the first level like 2 or 3 times, I think. Like one time collecting stuff, one time no dying, and one time for the time limit. And I know that you can, like, moving forward, I was able to do it a bit more efficiently, but to play each level twice, I don't know.
That's a minimum of twice, by the way, because
it has to be 3 times because there's no way you're gonna get the whatever the glowy diamonds thing on your second playthrough. There's no way.
you don't have to get them on your second playthrough.
I'm telling you, if you want to get all of them, it's a minimum of 3 times per level.
I think that's right.
No.
It is. How are you going to know how to achieve the optimal run to get the diamonds?
Yeah, on the first playthrough.
You don't have to get the diamonds in your
God,
optimal run.
I'm saying,
sorry.
want them.
Sorry. No, sorry. I thought you were talking about the emeralds. No.
No.
So, like,
I would say emerald if I meant
So,
emerald.
like, when I was... Okay, got it. When I was playing, you can get all the collectibles and do your deathless run in one run.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do your super fast time in the second run. There were times where I got the diamonds on my first fast run. Like, you don't have to go.
I'm aware you don't have to, but it is most likely, especially through some of these runs.
Yeah.
I would say, especially for early levels, you really don't need to play them minimum 3 times. But for later levels, it ended up becoming get the collectibles run, do the deathless run, and then do the master time run, because usually I could not do the collectibles or the master time run without dying and resetting to a checkpoint, which was really rough. So it was.
So yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, it's rough. I never fully did the race levels, because once I got there, I was like, no, I'm not gonna. But do you have to like beat them in the race and then go back and do all the collectibles? Like, how does that work to get all the?
So you have to. Yeah, the race levels are super dumb because you have to win the race, and then there will be a door at the end that leads you back to like earlier in the level.
No.
And then you can go collect everything. But, like, a lot of times the door doesn't lead you back to the very beginning of the level, or even, like, where you restarted the race. It's, like, a little bit ahead of that. So you have to, like, backtrack a little bit. And then it's very bizarre.
Ugh.
Race
Mox,
levels are no bueno.
Is there anything you want to add about the gameplay, Mox?
It is just not very, like, beginner friendly, or someone who's not very good at, I don't know, like coordinating. There's no, I don't know, handicaps, I guess. You really just have to do it, which sucks.
Well, I would say the fact that all of those things are optional, and especially the fact that they don't get you pretty much anything. Like,
I'm talking about playing the level, beating the level.
But what about to get max health though?
Yeah, if you want to get max health, sure, but that's really not. I don't think getting max health.
You don't think
is
it's
something
necessary?
you really need until you get to the final boss. That is rough. A lot of his attacks are kind of rough, but everything until then, the checkpoints are usually pretty generous. Except for the race levels. In the race levels, they don't seem to give you any checkpoints until you have made it through that door at the end, and then there's like little things that you can do to unlock checkpoints for your other play through the level. But yeah, especially in like the first few worlds, I think a lot of the platforming is not very high pressure. It's not like time sensitive stuff other than the race levels.
That's
later
true.
on, they start to get kind of tough. There starts to be tougher stuff, and I think one big problem with this game that makes that stuff tough is, one, the targeting reticle that you have is inaccurate. It doesn't actually show you like if you're going to latch onto that, or if like that you can reach it, and two, like the alignment. It like sometimes it'll show that you're like above a ledge, and it's not, or vice versa. Sometimes it'll show red, which means you're going to latch on, and it doesn't. Sometimes it'll show gray, and you do latch on when you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to, yeah.
And then on top of that, it's completely analog. It's not. I think you were saying to me before, like, it would be great if this was an 8-directional game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I agree. Having totally freeform aiming is not. I don't think that's a good feature.
Yeah, I think that would have made the game a lot more accessible.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I was getting extremely frustrated at certain points, and
also, cutscenes do not pause the timer or anything that's happening in the level. And I know you ran into an issue where you came out of a cutscene and took damage.
Oh my gosh, Mox was there for that.
Yeah.
I won a race, and then they did the whole thing where they're like, "Oh, you beat me!" And then as soon as that was over, I died instantly. It was great. And guess what? Guess what you do? Restart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and restarting is not quick to happen. Like, you have to go to a menu, push the button, and then it does like it does a whole animation thing. Even if you die, like a death reset, you have to like be brought into the level, and like it takes some time. And especially on race levels or anything with a cutscene, it takes a few seconds before you can really skip the cutscene. So it's just like every bit of it is tedious for retries. And if you're gonna do a game like that, especially if you're focusing on speedrunners, like, man, just make it super quick to go.
Yeah. And I feel like there has to be, like, whether the developer has said it or not, I feel like there has to be some sort of focus on speedrunning, because why else would they include the time period? Like
for sure.
The time part of it, I mean.
Some of the time, like the Master Time Trials, I hit one late in the game where I was like, okay, I became aware of some of the speedrun strats where I was like, if I got really stuck, I would go watch somebody speedrun, and I'd be like, well, I'm not going to do that because that's a speedrunning trick. But okay, this is kind of cool. You can jump off this and like latch onto that faraway thing, and like that seems intended. There was one where you are actually intended to use the latch onto a wall and climb it trick to get the Master Time Trial, and I was just like, well, okay, I guess that's how I'm playing the game now. So definitely there was at least some level of focus on speedrunning.
And Mox, you watched a speedrun of this game?
Yeah.
What was the entertainment value of that speedrun?
Minimal.
Yeah.
It is like, you play the game mostly as is. There's a few levels where you're doing cool stuff, which is why you watch a speedrun, like climbing the wall by rolling into it, or waiting for something to move towards you so you can, what is it? Grapple to it from across the level. And then, like, I think it's the second boss that you can kill outside of the arena just by collecting, like, enemies that you can shoot and enticing him to come to the corner of his arena, which you can just reach from the level. But the rest of it is just playing the level as is, just being as efficient as possible. Which is not as fun of a speed run that you really want to watch. Like, it's not a GDQ speed run that everyone's, like, really hyped about.
I wonder if this was ever ran in GDQ.
I would be surprised. Let's see.
Yeah, be interesting to know for sure. Anything else, Austin, about the gameplay you would like to add?
I don't know if you'd consider it spoilers, but there's a little bit of a change up in World 7.
Nah.
I told you about this. Okay. So, when you're racing against this guy named Jake. He's trying to get treasure. And he's like, I'm going to get the treasure before you. And you're like, I'm just looking for my parents. But he keeps doing it. So in World 7, there's 2 levels where you actually get to play as Jake. And he has a little bit of a different mechanic where instead of having hit points, he has a health percentage. So he starts at 100% and he just continually drops in health over time. And as you collect gold, your health like goes up. So you have to keep getting gold or hit checkpoints in order to like survive and keep making it through the level. And as you get gold, if you die, the gold you collected is gone.
Does not come back.
It doesn't come back unless you like actually hard restart the level.
Yeah.
So he wasn't very fun to play as. It was just a little something different that's there. Just while we're talking about the gameplay.
Not fun. No. Mox, what did you think of the visuals of this game, though?
I think it's pretty. It's well put together.
It is.
It is a bit samey. I mean, like, when we were playing, I assume it's intentional, but the coins were placed in a certain way that it's really hard to notice unless you're, like, looking at them, which is tricky, but also I would hope that they would make the coins really distinctive because you have to collect all of them, but they didn't in that specific instance. But otherwise, it looks good. There
were a handful of levels where I made it. It was like, oh, this level has 572 coins on it.
And you were like,
to the end, and I have 571, and it's just like, oh my god, I gotta play.
You need a spotter.
Yeah,
you need a spotter.
Yeah, I was playing with Mox, and Mox was like, did you check over here? I was like, no, I did. And then I was like, oh, thank you. I totally missed that. Or something was on top of like a statue or something. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a spotter. It helps a lot. I like the PS1, Nintendo 64 era graphics. I think they do really well in this, like, in a game like this. It seemed to look pretty solid. Had some, like, Banjo-Kazooie vibes to it a little bit. Especially with like the cutscenes and stuff as well. They didn't have the funny voices, but for the most part.
Nor the excellent story.
Well, yeah, I have a note about the story once we get there.
Listen, Renata was being like left behind in the camp, and they were very concerned, but they had to keep pushing forward, and that's very compelling story. Okay? Especially with all the typos.
Oh no. Austin, visuals?
I was very drawn to the visual style. That's actually why I voted for this game. I thought,
how dare you?
I was like, oh, that visual style, and it's like a platformer with a grappling gun? That sounds awesome. At least the visual style stayed pretty consistent. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Mox, I'll go to you first when moving on to audio, because we sat down and played through the first couple levels when you were over here, and the soundtrack, we were like humming it a little bit, but not because we liked it, because we were more annoyed because that's all we heard for the past like 30-45 minutes or whatever. It's
a lot.
Did you gain any love for the soundtrack at all?
No.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they don't use the same song. I mean, like, when I played Paranormasight, the soundtracks are excellent. Like, there's like, I don't know, 7 soundtracks that you hear a lot. But like 3 of them are 100% perfect. I'm excited to hear them every time. The other ones are kind of middling. But it is 7 tracks, and that's it. Mm-hmm. This game is like, there's a different one each level, and it's a little bit different when you move on to the new area, which is better. I mean, to say the areas, not levels. I appreciate that they didn't just use the same thing every time, but it is no Banjo-Kazooie.
No, it's not.
With
or
Grant
Tooie.
Or Tooie with Grant Kirkhope. No Grant Kirkhope here.
Yeah, they should have got Grant Kirkhope. He's probably super cheap, right? No, but I hear you, though. I hear you. I have the race, like when you do a cutscene for the race song stuck in my head. It's been stuck in my head for a while because I replayed those levels a lot because they were very annoying and I struggled. But yeah, the soundtrack, it's definitely not something I'm going to search out or ever give a listen. Like if they press this on vinyl, it's not something I'm picking up. What about you, Austin?
No, I did not like this soundtrack. And I had to hear it a lot. Because I had to hear it for 15 hours. The sound effects are very annoying and loud. Very loud.
It is
and
loud.
Quite unbalanced. The Renata says some really weird stuff. Like, I think if she dies, she says, hell! or something like that. And
help!
Initially, I was like, no, she's just saying help or ow, but like, my wife was like, yeah, hell, indeed. And I was like, wait, what? And then listening to it more, I was like, I think that is what she's saying. She says something different if you restart the level. Anyways, I had to turn a lot of the volume way down, and especially the sound effects. And the music was, it was no bueno. The final boss has some pretty good, better music, and I think they reused that for the boss rushes, but no. Didn't like this music.
Well, I mean, we may not have liked the music, but we probably love the controls of this game, right? Right, Austin, you love the controls and interface of this game?
I didn't really have like a big problem with the controls. It was more of the way that the gun worked.
Mm-hmm. Would you say the way the gun controlled?
No.
Okay.
No. It like the way that it would latch, basically. Because you can't latch onto things at an angle. At least not like a very. It has to be
not consistently,
angle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not consistently. A lot of times I would latch and it would be like, okay, cool. And then I would it felt like I was doing the same thing and it would just bounce off the wall and make a sound and be like, no, you can't latch onto that. And that felt really bad, especially when I was trying to do the master time trials, because it was like a lot of times you would have to do something like that. And it was like, just let me have fun. Just let me have fun. There's no limit on how often you can use your tongue on stuff as long as it hits something.
Right.
Which is why you can climb walls with that speedrunning trick. But if you are in the air and you don't latch onto something, you can use it twice, and then after that,
that's it.
It's done until you touch the ground again.
No.
But they let you use it so fast that, like, if you're like, let's say you climb a wall using the speedrunning trick, and you use it when you climb up, like you're high enough to throw your tongue past the ground, but you're not high enough to get up there. Well, you can use it twice in a row by accident.
Oh, yeah, easily. Easily, you can.
But there's an interesting mechanic where you can get, like, some extra horizontal distance by using it in the air to, like, stop yourself, because you completely stop your vertical movement. And then you can kind of get forward get a little more distance. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than, like, the way that the gun would latch onto stuff, I didn't really have a super issue with the controls. The aiming was not very good. Aiming was bad.
One thing I will say that I should have tried that I didn't. Supposedly there's a option, like a setting in the options menu around the grapple, and you can say whether you want it to auto grab or not, I think. Like to auto aim on things.
Oh, that would have been nice.
And I believe you can turn that off or on. I don't know what the default is, though. Mox,
I think it's off.
Oh, yeah, right. Mox, I know you didn't finish the game, but from what you experienced,
I tried it on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I this is what happens with these kinds of games, like with Neon White. It's just how I experience the game.
Right.
Like, it's just how I experience it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Okay. I have a tremor, which means I can't make my hand move in a very, like, the same way every time, and in very precise movements.
Mm-hmm.
With like certain kinds of movement on the controller. And this required a lot of simultaneous movement that is kind of practiced, and you have to do it the same way frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really struggle with those kinds of movements. And so this game was just not for me. I do think it would have been better, like you guys said, if it had, like, it wasn't just any amount of degrees. It was just, you can only turn a certain number of degrees and then, 8 direction. But it wasn't that way, so it was impossible.
Yeah, I would have loved 8 directions. And we kind of already talked about the speedrunning trick, but for those that are curious, you just tap your tongue against a flat surface, like a wall, at a specific rhythm, and eventually you just climb by hitting the wall over and over again. You climb up, and you can just climb a wall forever. I didn't know this, but supposedly you can, at the right time, you can just jump over.
Not supposedly, you can do it.
Oh, you can. But I could never do that.
It's hard.
So I would have to grapple
like, get
every time.
along the little, like, walls that run alongside. You have to, like, attach to that tiny little space.
Oh. Okay.
too much.
Yeah, too much for me. But it was fun once I learned how to do that and to do it, because it did get me past a few levels a lot quicker, and that was I felt really smart. That was fun.
Yeah. Damage boosting is also extremely powerful in this game.
What does damage boosting mean?
So, like...
like getting hit, and then...
Yeah. If you take damage, you launch upward, like, really high.
So,
like, there was a time that before I learned the speedrunning trick, I launched myself at a wall that had spikes on the other side, and the hit detection is so bad that it hits you through the wall, and I was able to launch myself over that. There was another spot where it was like, there were these spikes that were going back and forth horizontally, and I was able to skip a big section by, I jumped on a pot that gives you some good height into that spike wall as it was going by, and I was able to launch myself up onto the next platform. Yeah, damage boosting, very, very strong in this game.
Did they do any of that in the speedrunning stuff that you watched, Mox?
Always. They run into spikes knowing the iframes or whatever after that too are a lot. So you run over spikes to get some air, so you can then latch onto something, run into more spikes so that you could get over this area you're not meant to be over.
Makes sense. Mox, you played on Switch. How was the performance on Switch from what you played?
It was briefly. It was fine.
It was fine,
this
though?
Game, I had watched a speed run, and I put it at 2x speed because I wanted to get through it faster.
Right.
It looks so much better at 2x speed. It looks kind of, I don't know, chunky.
It's very slow.
It is very slow, yeah.
It looks so smooth and like actually cool at 2x speed. Otherwise, no, it's very, I don't know.
Actually
I
cool.
don't want chunky.
Actually cool at 2x speed. That they can put that on the box.
That'd be really cool.
That's a great quote. The Steam Deck performance was pretty solid. I played mostly on Steam Deck. I played a little bit on my computer, but Steam Deck I thought was pretty good. How did you play it, Austin?
I played it mostly on Steam Deck. It defaulted to like a really dumb resolution.
Yeah,
so it looked fuzzy, and I had to fix that because like it runs great at 720p on there. It also runs really great at 1080p when it's docked. I didn't try higher than that. So I was surprised that they had the default resolution so low. But yeah, it ran great. It also ran great on my desktop. There was one time where the game crashed really hard, and I sent you guys a picture of it. My whole computer was just like...
That was
It
weird.
looked like a creepypasta, like my computer was haunted.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Other than that, yeah.
Other than that was good, yeah. Okay, moving on to the story. Or should I say, what story? Yeah, I know this game has those story pages. I kind of had a clue what was going on, but I'm going to be really, really honest. I didn't really care too much to look it up for this. So, what'd you guys think of the story? Mox? From what you know of it? What story? Great answer. Austin, what do you think?
So I was trying to read everything for like the first few worlds, and then like especially the notes, you get them while you're playing.
Yes.
Like it doesn't like bring up something. It's just like, okay, this is just going by while you're also dealing with other stuff. And it became incredibly hard to read. And also like there was nothing of substance coming out of them. I started skipping the cutscenes in the last few worlds because like every cutscene boiled down to, hey, what are you doing here? I'm gonna beat you. And like it would take a while for all that to happen, and that was just wasting precious time. So yeah, the story boils down to your parents have gone missing. You're going to find them. There's some guy named Jake who wants treasure, which your parents went to go find treasure. They're like explorers, I guess. And you're just going to try and save your parents. And there's also like the bosses all have like their own dialogue of like, well, I have to stop you, otherwise this other boss is gonna get mad at me. And then you find dialogue from the other bosses like, that stupid guy, he let the humans in. And like
it's a big pyramid scheme sort of situation.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the story was it was there to give some context to the game, I guess, and to add a collectible. But I don't think a whole lot of effort was put into it.
Jiggies or note pages, if you had to pick, Mox?
There's Well, there's like notes and pages, Cheeto pages in Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
So all 3.
Different kind of note.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our personal takes. And Austin, let's start with you.
Okay. I decided to 100% this game early on because the levels were not like that difficult to do it with, and I got to a point in the game where pretty quickly where that stopped being fun, and
so you stopped, right?
No, I was too deep in and too committed. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Like it's doable. I can do it, so I'm going to do it. And that is not the way I would recommend anyone play this game because it is not fun, and it's not rewarding. I really wish that the collectibles had more meaning. Also, if you get all the collectibles, including all the coins on every level, you will not have 100% of the game because you then need to grind more coins to finish buying the gallery art and the hats. And that's a really stupid thing to have to do after getting everything. Like, I don't know why it wasn't set up to where if you get all the stuff, that you can't... Also, there were like some weird bugs with the way percentages and progression saved. So like sometimes I would like get an achievement. Like I signed in to grab an easy achievement because I was like, I don't understand how to do this. And I was like, oh, I can just activate photo mode and do that. But then I can push this button to take a picture of my surroundings. So that's a different achievement. Did that, exited the game. And when I came back in, I didn't have those, like I still had the achievements, but I didn't have the medals for those achievements in the game on my save file. So that didn't save when I did that. There's like weird things that it will, like when it will and when it won't save, that you have to be careful around. Sometimes you'll do something that it saves that's supposed to increase your percentage, and it doesn't show, like it doesn't update your percentage of completion until you exit the game and come back in. That's super bizarre. There's typos on stuff. I don't know why they let you earn Master Trial stuff without showing you the times until you finish the game. My percentage jumped from 99% to 150% as soon as I got the last thing that I needed to get to 100%. So like it's not counting your percentage that you'll get after that, which is also super weird. I really don't like that you can't latch onto stuff from an angle, or that the latching feels inconsistent, that the reticle is bad, the aiming is bad, the movement is slow. I think if you were going to play this game just beating the levels one by one, you'd probably have fun for at least half the game.
It's about right.
Yeah, not a great game, but not like a horrible game. If you go for 100% and you are not like a passionate speedrunner, because like this isn't like Neon White where it's like, hey, maybe like enjoy getting a little taste of what it's like to be a speedrunner, and like the ace times are all like super just achievable, but it's kind of built around like, okay, repeat, try again, and we don't want to make this super frustrating for you. And this Frogun is the opposite. It is built to be frustrating, I guess, so that you are punished for messing up in a speedrun. Like if you are latching onto something, then you like pause for a moment when you get there, so you can't use that as like a spam thing of like, oh, let's just make cool, awesome movement. And like some people get really into speedruns like that, and I think there's all of 2 people who got very into this game for speedrunning.
All of 2,
according to the leaderboards. But it was not fun as a newcomer and somebody who lightly dabbles when playing like Neon White and stuff like that. So unless you're really into speedrunning, I wouldn't recommend going for 100% on this game at all. Yeah, I did not have a good time. I had some odd small bugs that weren't game-breaking, typos, little polish issues. I would give this like a 5 out of 10.
Dang. Okay. 5 out of 10 from Austin. Mox, I know you didn't finish it. I know you just watched a speed run, but I am curious of your overall thoughts.
I did, and again, this is like it applies to me, and it applies to other people maybe who have issues with controlling their hand muscles. But I just can't play these kinds of games. And Neon White did, like Austin said, try to accommodate people not being especially good at games like this, and they made it easier to suck because there's a lot more floating in that game. This game didn't have any sort of accommodations for me. I couldn't rely on anything to try and like make it easier to attach to things. It was just, get good at it or you're going to hate it. And it sounds like even if you're good at it, you still hate it. So I'm not even going to rate it. This isn't the kind of game that's meant for me. And it doesn't sound like it's a super great game for anybody except those two people who played it at AGDQ 2023.
Oh, you found it.
It was the guy at the top of the the leaderboard did the speed run, and the guy in the number 2 place did the commentary.
Wow. Well, there you go. I liked the style of this game, and I like that there's some replay value, but everything else I did not like. I didn't like the controls. I didn't like the camera. Excuse me. I didn't like the bosses. I thought the levels were quite frustrating. I was getting mad angry, like just furious playing this game because I would press the buttons and I would expect a behavior from pressing said buttons, and that behavior would not happen in the way that I expected it to. And maybe that's on me, but this game was not very fun. Austin's right about if you're not 100%ing it, it probably is fun for about halfway through. That's 100% my experience. I tried completing it in the beginning, and then I got super frustrated with the race. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play it for fun. It'll be okay. I don't need to complete it. I can just beat the game and that'll be it. I still haven't fully beat it. I'm on World 6 and I'm on level 3 in World 6. I'm very close. I will beat it. I'm going to hate doing it, but I will do it. Just so I can just check it off the list. But yeah, Frogun was not a great experience, and I would also give it a 5. It was not a fun one.
For anyone out there looking at the Steam page and going, well, it's got very positive reviews. Just let me paint you a picture here.
Yeah, please.
Less than half of players who own the game and played it have beaten the first boss. Less than half. Less than 10% of players, less than 10%, have beaten the boss of World 6, which is technically the end of the game, but it's not like the last world. But they have not, less than 10%. The drop-off is crazy on this game, in terms of...
This,
I think more than 90% got a full set of like one collectible on a level, which means they probably played the first level and were like, ooh, I got the 2 diamonds or something like that. Less than half beat the first boss, which is 6 levels in. So just putting it out there.
Yeah, a lot of fall off. I think I know for me, the reason why I brought this game up is because I saw it at I think it was one of the Wholesome Games events like last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks nice. This looks really nice. But it's not until you play it that you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think, Mox, even, I'm pretty sure like whenever we did our nominations, like everyone was all in for this, right? Like no one was like, every game but this, right?
I said could agree to Frogun if we didn't like the other ones you had picked.
Should have listened to Mox.
You gave us 5 games, and 4 of them were excellent, and I was okay with Frogun.
Oh. Note to self.
But only if we had to. I was like so excited about Melatonin and Goodbye World 2. I was like, that's a 2 out of 3 chance. So amazing.
Classic Bombchu Discord betrayal. Just kidding.
I like looking back. I voted for Frogun because I was just like, the other 2 games I know I'm gonna play. This one, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna play it later. I want to play it now so I can do Frogun Hardcore. And guess what?
We're not
Tyler,
doing
ask me if I'm going to play Frogun Encore.
Hey, Austin, you can play Frogun Encore.
No!
God.
I am not.
They really missed out calling it, like, Frogun Core.
They should have,
putting more words
Frogun
together.
Core. It's true.
No one bites stuff.
Maybe they will. Maybe the next game will just be like a huge improvement in every way, and it'll be just wonderful. They'll do 8 directions. It'll have a cool story. It'll be accessible. It won't be super
With a name
frustrating.
like Encore, it sounds like it's going to be the same.
It probably is. It's probably just going to be the same with extra levels and 2 players. Also, there's a PvP mode. I forgot to mention that.
I did not try that.
I also did not try it. And I never will. So that was a little dive in our take on Frogun. If you enjoyed hearing us discuss and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put because the vote just ended, and it was between Paranormasight, The 7 Mysteries of Hanjo, Disco Elysium, and Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Danganronpa?
Danganronpa, yeah.
There you go.
All investigative games.
And the winner is I'm just double checking. But I'm pretty sure it
Overwhelming choice.
Oh, by 8 votes. Woo!
I am so surprised. Okay, like
I told you.
these are of all the games, if you were to say which one has the most text and the least action, it is by far Disco Elysium. And we chose Frogun out of the previous games. I'm stunned.
Hopefully Disco Elysium will be a much better experience. So we're not going to do this is a longer game, and things are a bit crazy right now. So,
well, and also it's a non-linear game. I don't think there's a halfway point that would be appropriate.
Yeah, it is. That's also true. So we're going to skip the next episode. So that means that instead of it being in 2 weeks, it's going to be in 4 weeks on July 9th at 2 Eastern. And thank you so much for everyone who voted. And that was episode 72 of Video Game Club. And the next game will be Disco Elysium. One other thing about Disco Elysium. I think it's on almost everything. It's on sale right now on GOG and Epic, but not on Steam for some reason, which is just bizarre. Austin, you said that I think you've seen it as low as $10, you were saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, also I checked physical copies for consoles and they were pretty cheap, like I think $15, $17, something like that. So, go support your local GameStop, I guess, or something.
If you want to go hardcore and get the collector's edition, it's only $250. So
only.
Well, isn't this the game
with $13 of shipping
that the creators of it got bought out?
Yeah, there was some weird
not
thing.
very
Something
happy
dramatic
about it.
happened.
Well,
and apparently there was some kind of takeover.
The owners have said, please pirate our game. Please do not purchase it.
Oh, what?
Don't do that. But they've said it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I know there's something that happened, but I never read too much into it.
It's ironic given the content of the game.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to because this game is. I feel like it's highly acclaimed. Like people love this game.
Oh yeah.
So will be fun to play this one. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and Mox, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Andron, working behind the scenes, making all this possible. I'm Tyler, and this was Video Game Club episode 72. Frogun, a frog and a gun, and we're out.
Ribbit.